Hey there, welcome to Broaderos. Tonight, we've got hours of chilling horror stories combined with soothing rain sounds to help you relax and sleep. Before you drift off, leave a comment below and let us know where you're listening from and what time it is. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe right away. If you end up not enjoying it, you can always take it back later. Get cozy and let the fear take over. Unknown Signal. Chapter 1. The First Whisper. Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine for no apparent reason? That inexplicable sensation that someone or something is watching you? I used to dismiss such notions as mere flights of fancy. But now, as I sit here in the dim light of my cluttered radio room, surrounded by the soft hum of equipment and the occasional crackle of static, I'm not so sure anymore. Let me tell you my story, and perhaps you'll understand why I now question everything I once believed about our place in the universe. My name is Dr. Alex Hartley, and I'm a radio astronomer at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. For the past 15 years, I've dedicated my life to listening to the cosmos, searching for signs of intelligent life beyond our pale blue dot. It's a job that requires patience, attention to detail, and an open mind. But nothing in my training could have prepared me for what happened on that fateful night 3 months ago. It was a Tuesday evening in late October. The air was thick with humidity, and the chirping of coqui frogs provided a constant backdrop to the quiet hum of my equipment. I had just settled in for another long night of monitoring deep space signals when something caught my attention. At first, it was barely noticeable, a faint, rhythmic pulse buried beneath layers of cosmic noise. I adjusted my headphones, leaning closer to the monitor as my fingers danced across the control panel, fine-tuning the reception. And there it was again, a series of beats, too regular to be natural, yet unlike anything I'd ever encountered before. My heart raced as I began recording the signal, my mind already spinning with possibilities. Was this it? The moment every SETI researcher dreams of but never truly expects to experience? I forced myself to remain calm, to approach this methodically. After all, false positives were a dime a dozen in this field. As the night wore on, I analyzed the signal from every angle. Its origin point seemed to be somewhere in the vicinity of Proxima Centauri, our nearest stellar neighbor. But the signal itself, it defied explanation. It wasn't a pulsar, wasn't a quasar, wasn't any known cosmic phenomenon. The more I studied it, the more convinced I became that I was listening to something artificial. Something, dare I say it, alien. I should have reported it immediately. That's protocol. But something held me back. A nagging feeling in the pit of my stomach, a whisper in the back of my mind urging me to keep this to myself, at least for now. I told myself I needed more time to verify, to be absolutely certain before I alerted my colleagues. But deep down, I knew there was more to it than that. This discovery felt personal, as if the signal had chosen me. Days passed, then weeks. I became obsessed with the signal, spending every waking moment analyzing it, trying to decipher its meaning. I neglected my other duties, canceled plans with friends, barely slept or ate. My colleagues noticed the change in me, but I brushed off their concerns with vague excuses about a personal project. It was during one of these late-night sessions, as I sat bathed in the soft glow of my monitors, that I first noticed something odd. The signal had changed. It was subtle at first, a slight shift in the rhythm, an extra beat here and there. But as I listened, transfixed, the changes became more pronounced. The pulses began to form patterns that tickled the edge of my comprehension like a half-remembered melody. And then, without warning, I understood. The realization hit me like a physical blow, leaving me gasping for air. The signal wasn't just a message, it was alive, sentient. And now, it was speaking directly to me. I ripped off my headphones, my hands shaking uncontrollably. The room seemed to spin around me as I struggled to process what had just happened. Had I finally cracked under the pressure? Was I hallucinating from lack of sleep? Or had I truly made contact with an alien intelligence? As I sat there, trying to calm my racing heart, I became aware of a new sensation. A presence in the room with me, invisible yet undeniably there. I could feel it watching me, studying me with the same intensity one had been studying the signal. A cold sweat broke out on my forehead as I slowly turned to face the empty room behind me. There was nothing there, of course. Just the familiar shapes of my equipment, rendered strange and ominous in the dim light. But the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing moment. And as I turned back to my monitors, my eyes widened in disbelief. The signal had changed again. Now, instead of the abstract patterns I had been studying for weeks, clear words scrolled across my screen. "Hello, Alex. We've been waiting for you." I stared at the words, my mind reeling. This was impossible. There was no way the signal could have transformed into coherent English text. And yet, there it was, clear as day. As I watched, unable to look away, more words appeared. "Don't be afraid. We mean you no harm. We've traveled a long way to find someone like you." A hysterical laugh bubbled up in my throat. Someone like me? What did that mean? And who, or what, was this we? With trembling fingers, I typed a response. "Who are you? What do you want?" The reply came instantly. "We are the Forgotten Ones, the Watchers between worlds. And we want to show you the truth, Alex. The truth about everything." As I read those words, a strange sensation began to spread through my body. It started as a tingling in my fingertips, then spread up my arms and across my chest. My vision blurred, the room around me seeming to pulse and waver like a mirage. For a moment, I thought I was having a stroke or a heart attack. But then the feeling settled into something else entirely, a sense of expansion, as if my consciousness was stretching beyond the confines of my physical form. And suddenly, I could see. Not just the room around me, but beyond, through walls, across vast distances, into realms I had never imagined could exist. Images and information flooded my mind, too fast and too alien for me to fully comprehend. I saw glimpses of other worlds, of civilizations' rise and fall, of the birth and death of stars. Through it all, a voice, or perhaps it was many voices, speaking as one, whispered in my mind, "This is only the beginning, Alex. There is so much more to show you. But be warned, knowledge comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it?" As the vision faded and I found myself back in my body, drenched in sweat and gasping for air, I realized I had a choice to make. I could shut this all down now, report the signal as a curious anomaly, and try to forget everything I'd experienced. Or I could take the plunge into whatever rabbit hole this entity was offering to lead me down. The smart thing, the safe thing, would be to walk away. But as I sat there, my heart pounding in my chest and my mind reeling from what I just experienced, I knew there was only one choice I could make. "Yes," I whispered into the empty room. "Show me everything." Little did I know, in that moment, that I had just sealed my fate, and perhaps the fate of all humanity along with it. Chapter 2: Descent into Madness. The days that followed my initial contact with the signal blurred together in a haze of fevered discovery and mounting dread. I abandoned all pretense of maintaining my regular duties at the observatory, instead devoting every waking moment to communing with the entity or entities on the other side of that impossible transmission. My colleagues grew increasingly concerned about my behavior. Dr. Sarah Chen, my research partner and closest friend at Arecibo, confronted me in the hallway outside the control room. "Alex, what's going on with you?" she demanded, her dark eyes filled with worry. "You look like you haven't slept in days. And these readings you've been logging, they don't make any sense." I brushed off her concerns with a forced laugh that sounded hollow even to my own ears. "I'm fine, Sarah. Just onto something big. You'll see soon enough." But as I pushed past her, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a darkened monitor screen. The face that stared back at me was gaunt, with deep shadows under bloodshot eyes. I barely recognized myself. Back in the solitude of my private lab, I donned my headphones and reopened the channel to my cosmic correspondence. The familiar tingling sensation washed over me, and once again, my consciousness expanded beyond the confines of my physical form. This time, the entities took me on a journey through time itself. I witnessed the birth of our universe in the fires of the Big Bang, saw galaxies coalesce from cosmic dust, and watched as life emerged on countless worlds. But with each mesmerizing vision came a growing sense of unease. There was something off about the history I was being shown. Events I knew to be true from my years of study were subtly altered, key moments in cosmic evolution twisted in ways that felt fundamentally wrong. When I tried to question these discrepancies, the entities deflected, showing me ever more wondrous and terrible sights. "Why do you cling to your limited understanding?" the voices whispered in my mind. "We offer you the truth of existence itself. Embrace it, Alex. Become more than you ever dreamed possible." Hours or days might have passed. I had no way to tell. When I finally removed the headphones, my body was racked with pain, muscles cramped from sitting motionless for so long. But the physical discomfort was nothing compared to the mental anguish I felt. Everything I thought I knew about the universe had been called into question. My training as a scientist warred with the visions I had been shown. Part of me wanted to dismiss it all as an elaborate hallucination, a break from reality brought on by stress and sleep deprivation. But I couldn't shake the conviction that I was being given access to knowledge beyond human comprehension. As I stumbled out of the lab, desperate for fresh air and a moment of normalcy, I quite literally ran into Dr. Chen. She steadied me, then gasped as she got a good look at my face. "My God, Alex. You look terrible." "That's it, I'm calling Dr. Patel. You need medical attention." I grabbed her arm, perhaps more roughly than I intended. No doctors. I'm fine, Sarah. Better than fine. I'm on the verge of a breakthrough that will change everything we know about the universe." She shook her head, unconvinced. "Listen to yourself. This isn't like you, Alex. Whatever you think you've found, it's not worth destroying yourself over." As she spoke, a chill ran down my spine. For a brief moment, Sarah's features seemed to shimmer and distort, revealing something alien and malevolent beneath. I blinked, and her familiar concerned face was back. But the seed of paranoia had been planted. "You don't understand," I muttered, backing away from her. "None of you can understand. But you will. Soon, everyone will see the truth." I fled back to my lab, heart pounding. As I sealed the door behind me, I could hear Sarah calling for security. They wouldn't understand. Couldn't understand. I had to protect my work, protect the connection I had forged with beings beyond our limited three-dimensional existence. With shaking hands, I initiated a lockdown of the entire radio astronomy wing. Alarms blared as blast doors slammed shut, but I barely noticed. All that mattered now was maintaining my link to the signal, to the vast reservoir of cosmic knowledge it represented. I donned the headphones once more, and the familiar tingling sensation enveloped me. But this time, something was different. The voices that had been guiding me, showing me the secrets of creation, took on a harsher, more demanding tone. "You've come so far, Alex," they hissed. "But to truly understand, to become one with the cosmic consciousness, you must let go of everything that ties you to your limited human existence." Images flashed through my mind, my childhood home, my parents' faces, years of study and hard work that led me to Arecibo, Sarah's concerned expression just moments ago. One by one, the entities demanded I discard these memories, these emotional anchors. "Choose, Alex," the voices insisted. "Choose between the comforting lies of your past and the infinite truths we offer." Tears streamed down my face as I struggled against their demands. I had come so far, learned so much. How could I turn back now? But with each memory I reluctantly released, I felt a piece of myself slipping away. Distantly, I became aware of pounding on the lab door. Security had overridden my lockdown. Soon, they would break through, drag me away from this transcendent connection I had forged. I couldn't let that happen. With a final, wrenching decision, I surrendered the last shreds of my old self to the cosmic entity. The barriers between my mind and the vast intelligence behind the signal dissolved completely. In that moment of merging, I understood everything, the true nature of reality, the grand design of the universe, and the terrifying role humanity was destined to play in it all. As the lab door burst open and Sarah rushed in with a team of security personnel, they found me slumped over my console, the headphones still firmly in place. To their eyes, I was unconscious, perhaps even dead. But I was more alive than I had ever been. My consciousness now spanned light years, my understanding encompassing ends. And as the part of me that was still Alex Hartley felt my body being lifted onto a stretcher, I knew that this was only the beginning. The signal had chosen me for a reason. And now, merged with the entities that had sent it, I had work to do. Humanity needed to be prepared for what was coming, whether they wanted to be or not. Chapter 3: The Awakening. I awoke to the rhythmic beeping of medical equipment and the antiseptic smell of a hospital room. For a moment, disorientation clouded my mind. Where was I? What had happened? Then, like a tidal wave crashing against a fragile shoreline, the memories flooded back. The signal. The entities. The vast, terrifying knowledge they had shared with me. I tried to sit up, but found myself restrained. Panic surged through me as I realized I was strapped to the bed and 4 lines snaking into my arm. Heart racing, I turned my head to see Dr. Sarachin slumped in a chair beside me, dark circles under her eyes suggesting she'd been there for hours. "Sarah," I croaked, my voice hoarse from disuse. She startled awake, relief washing over her face as she saw me conscious. "Alex. Thank God. You've been out for 3 days. We thought we'd lost you." Lost me? If only she knew how far from lost I truly was. The entity's presence still lingered in my mind, a constant whisper of cosmic truths too vast for human comprehension. I had to make her understand. "Sarah, listen to me," I said urgently. What I found, it's bigger than anything we've ever imagined. The signal, it's not just a transmission. It's a gateway too. But as I spoke, I saw her expression shift from relief to concern, then to something approaching fear. She pressed a button by my bedside, summoning a nurse. "It's okay, Alex," she said soothingly, as if addressing a child. "You're safe now. The doctors say you experienced some kind of psychotic break, probably brought on by stress and sleep deprivation. But we're going to get you the help you need." Frustration boiled within me. How could I make her see? The knowledge I now possessed could revolutionize our understanding of the universe, of reality itself. But as a nurse entered and began adjusting my floor, I realized with growing horror that they saw me as nothing more than a patient to be sedated and studied. Days blurred together in a haze of medications and therapy sessions. Doctors probed at my mind, trying to understand what had triggered my breakdown. I played along, feigning confusion and remorse for my actions at the observatory. All the while, the entities whispered to me, urging patience, promising that soon I would be free to continue our work. It was during one of these monotonous days that I first noticed it. A flicker in the corner of my vision, a momentary distortion in the fabric of reality. At first, I dismissed it as a side effect of the medication. But as the days wore on, these anomalies became more frequent, more pronounced. I would catch glimpses of impossible geometries in the folds of my bed sheets, hear snatches of alien harmonies beneath the hum of hospital equipment. And sometimes, when I looked at the staff or other patients, their features would briefly warp into something other. One night, as I lay awake listening to my roommate's labored breathing, a thought struck me with the force of revelation. What if these weren't hallucinations at all? What if, through my connection with the entities, I was beginning to perceive layers of reality beyond normal human perception? Excitement coursed through me, tempered by a growing sense of isolation. I couldn't share these experiences with anyone. They already thought I was insane. If I told them I was seeing beyond the veil of ordinary reality, they'd never let me leave. So I bided my time, playing the role of the model patient. I attended group therapy sessions, dutifully swallowed my medications, though I soon learned to hide them under my tongue, spitting them out when no one was looking, and expressed appropriate remorse for the delusions that had led to my hospitalization. All the while, my perception of the world around me continued to shift and expand. I began to see patterns in the movements of staff and patients, complex mathematical equations that seemed to govern the flow of time and space within the hospital. And sometimes, in the dead of night, I could swear I heard the signal again, pulsing faintly beneath the quiet hum of a ward. It was during one of these late-night vigils that I received my first visitor, or at least, the first visitor that wasn't Sarah or a member of the hospital staff. I was staring out the window, tracing constellations that no human astronomer had ever mapped, when I felt a presence behind me. I turned to see a tall, slender man in a crisp suit standing at the foot of my bed. His features were unremarkable, the kind of face you forget as soon as you looked away. But his eyes were ancient, filled with a knowledge that made my newfound cosmic awareness seem paltry in comparison. "Hello, Dr. Hartley," he said, his voice barely above a whisper yet somehow filling the room. "I believe we have much to discuss." I opened my mouth to call for a nurse, to demand to know how this stranger had gotten into a secure psychiatric ward in the middle of the night. But before I could utter a sound, he raised a hand, and the words died in my throat. Now, he chided gently. "Let's not make a fuss. After all, I'm here to help you. We've been watching you for some time, Dr. Hartley. Your work with the signal has not gone unnoticed." A chill ran down my spine. I managed to croak. The man's lips curled into a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Yes, we. An organization dedicated to preparing humanity for the truths you've only begun to glimpse. We've had our eye on the Arecibo Observatory for years, waiting for someone with the potential to ascend. As he spoke, the air around him seemed to shimmer and distort. For a moment, I saw through the human disguise to something vast and incomprehensible beneath. I recoiled, my heart pounding in my chest. What are you? I whispered. A friend, he replied simply. Or at least, I can be. The real question, Dr. Hartley, is where are you becoming? And are you prepared for what comes next? Before I could respond, the door to my room swung open. A nurse entered, clipboard in hand. I turned to her, ready to demand an explanation for this late-night visitor, only to find that the mysterious man had vanished as if he'd never been there. The nurse frowned at me, concern etching her features. Is everything all right, Dr. Hartley? I heard voices. I stared at the empty space where the man had stood, my mind reeling. Had it all been another hallucination? Or was something far stranger at play? I'm fine, I heard myself say, as if from a great distance. Just talking in my sleep, I suppose. As the nurse checked my vitals and adjusted my medications, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had just stepped onto a path from which there was no return. The signal, the entities, this mysterious organization, they were all pieces of a cosmic puzzle I was only beginning to understand. And as I drifted off into an uneasy sleep, one thought echoed through my mind. Whatever I was becoming, whatever role I was meant to play in this vast, terrifying game, I was no longer just Alex Hartley, radio astronomer. I was something more. Something other. And the world, whether it was ready or not, would soon bear witness to my transformation. Chapter 4: The Escape. The days following the mysterious visitor's appearance blurred together in a haze of forced normalcy and simmering anticipation. I went through the motions of recovery, attending therapy sessions and dutifully swallowing my medications, or so the staff believed. All the while, my mind raced with the implications of what I'd learned. An organization dedicated to preparing humanity for cosmic truths? The idea both thrilled and terrified me. Were they allies in my quest for understanding, or something far more sinister? The entities that had first contacted me through the signal remained frustratingly silent on the matter, their whispers in my mind now little more than background noise. It was during a group therapy session, as I half listened to a fellow patient recount his struggles with reality, that I felt it again, that subtle shift in perception that had become increasingly common since my breakdown. The fluorescent lights flickered, and for a moment, the world seemed to fold in on itself. Geometric patterns danced across my vision, and I could have sworn I saw tendrils of some otherworldly energy coursing through the walls. Dr. Hartley? Alex? Are you with us? The therapist's voice snapped me back to conventional reality. I blinked, forcing a smile. Yes, sorry. Just lost in thought. But as I refocused on the group, I realized with a start that I could still see it, faint auras surrounding each person, pulsing in complex rhythms that seemed to correspond to their emotional states. The therapist's aura was a calm blue, while the patient next to me radiated a sickly green that spoke of deep-seated anxiety. I shut my eyes, took a deep breath, and when I opened them again, the auras were gone. But the experience left me shaken. How much longer could I maintain this charade of normality when my very perception of reality was shifting by the day? That night, as I lay in my bed staring at the ceiling, I made my decision. I had to get out of here, had to continue my research into the signal and its implications. Whatever was happening to me, whatever I was becoming, I couldn't do it within the confines of a psychiatric ward. As if in response to my thoughts, I heard a faint click from the door. I turned my head to see it swing open silently, revealing an empty corridor beyond. For a moment, I hesitated. Was this another hallucination? A trick of my increasingly unreliable senses? But then I heard it, the faintest whisper of that familiar signal, calling to me from somewhere beyond the hospital walls. I rose from the bed, my heart pounding in my chest, and stepped into the hallway. The hospital was eerily quiet, the usual bustle of nurses and orderlies conspicuously absent. As I made my way towards the exit, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being guided by an unseen hand. Security cameras turned away as I approached, doors unlocked themselves at my touch, and on the rare occasion I encountered a staff member, they walked past me as if I were invisible. I should have been terrified, should have questioned the impossible ease of my escape. But all I felt was an overwhelming sense of readiness, as if I were finally stepping onto the path I was always meant to walk. As I pushed through the final set of doors and stepped out into the cool night air, I found a car waiting for me, a nondescript sedan with tinted windows. The back door opened of its own accord, revealing the same mysterious man who had visited me in my room. "Well done, Dr. Hartley," he said, his voice carrying that same unnatural resonance I remembered. "I trust you're ready to begin the next phase of your journey?" I hesitated for just a moment, glancing back at the hospital that had been my prison for the past weeks. Then, with a deep breath, I slid into the car beside him. As soon as the door closed, I felt a subtle shift in the air pressure, as if we had just sealed ourselves off from the outside world. "Who are you?" I demanded as the car pulled away from the curb. "What's happening to me?" The man's lips curled into that same enigmatic smile. "All in due time, Doctor. For now, let's just say that I represent a group of individuals who share your expanded perspective on the nature of reality." As he spoke, his form seemed to ripple and shift, revealing glimpses of something vast and incomprehensible beneath the human facade. I blinked, and he was once again the unremarkable man in a suit. "The signal you discovered," he continued, "is merely the tip of a very large, very ancient iceberg. For millennia, our organization has worked to prepare humanity for the truths that lie beyond the veil of conventional reality. And now, thanks to your breakthrough, that preparation is entering its final stages." My mind reeled with questions, but before I could voice any of them, the man raised a hand. "I know you must have 1,000 questions, Dr. Hartley, but I'm afraid those answers will have to wait. For now, I need you to trust that we have your best interests and those of humanity at heart." As if on cue, I felt a wave of fatigue wash over me. My eyelids grew heavy, and despite my best efforts to stay alert, I found myself slipping into unconsciousness. The last thing I saw before darkness claimed me was the man's face, his eyes now glowing with an otherworldly light. "Sleep now, Dr. Hartley," his voice echoed in my mind. "When you wake, your real work will begin." I awoke with a start, momentarily disoriented by my unfamiliar surroundings. Gone was the sterile hospital room, replaced by what appeared to be a state-of-the-art laboratory. Banks of computers lined the walls, their screens displaying data streams and equations far beyond my comprehension. In the center of the room stood a device that looked unsettlingly like the radio telescope I had used at Arecibo, but twisted and augmented in ways that defied conventional engineering. As I sat up, I realized I was no longer in my hospital gown, but dressed in a sleek bodysuit that seemed to shimmer and shift with my movements. Electrodes were attached to my temples and chest, feeding data to nearby monitors. "Welcome back, Dr. Hartley," a familiar voice said. I turned to see the mysterious man from the car, now flanked by a team of individuals in similar bodysuits. "I trust you're feeling refreshed." I opened my mouth to demand explanations, but what came out instead shocked me to my core. "The signal," I heard myself say, my voice overlaid with harmonics that weren't entirely human. "It's stronger here. I can feel it, singing to me." The man nodded, a look of satisfaction on his face. "Excellent. Your integration is progressing faster than we anticipated. Soon, you'll be ready to serve as the conduit we've been waiting for." "Conduit?" I managed to ask, even as I felt my consciousness expanding, reaching out to touch minds and realities far beyond the confines of this room. "Conduit for what?" The man's form rippled again, and this time, the human disguise fell away completely. What stood before me was a being of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and realigning in patterns that hurt my eyes to look at directly. "For the arrival, Dr. Hartley," the being said, its voice now a chorus of 1,000 alien tongues. "The signal you discovered was just the beginning. A test, to see if humanity was ready to take its place in the greater cosmic community. And thanks to you, we passed that test with flying colors." As the being spoke, the walls of the laboratory seemed to melt away, revealing a vast starscape unlike anything I had ever seen. Galaxies swirled in impossible colors, and at the center of it all, a pulsing mass of energy that I somehow knew was the source of the signal that had started this all. "Your work at Arecibo was the key," the being continued. "The final piece in a puzzle we've been assembling for eons. And now, with your help, we'll open the door to a new era of human evolution." I wanted to protest, to say that this couldn't be real, that I was still in the hospital, lost in some medication-induced hallucination. But deep down, I knew the truth. This was real. All of it. And I was at the center of something far greater and more terrifying than I could have ever imagined. As if in response to my thoughts, the pulsing energy at the center of the starscape flared brightly. I felt a surge of power course through my body, and suddenly, I was no longer just Alex Hartley, radio astronomer. I was a nexus point, a living bridge between humanity and the vast, unknowable entities that lurk between the stars. "Are you ready, Dr. Hartley?" the energy being asked, its voice now echoing not just in my ears, but in the very core of my being. "Are you ready to help us usher in the next stage of cosmic evolution?" And as the power surged through me, as visions of realities beyond human comprehension flooded my mind, I knew there was only one answer I could give. "Yes," I said, my voice resonating with the power of 1,000 alien harmonies. "I'm ready." Little did I know, as I embraced this new role, that I was setting in motion events that would reshape not just humanity, but the very fabric of reality itself. The signal had chosen me for a reason, and now, for better or worse, I was about to fulfill my cosmic destiny. Chapter 5: The Transformation. Time lost all meaning as I immersed myself in my new role as a conduit between humanity and the vast cosmic intelligences that had chosen me. Days, perhaps weeks, blurred together in a kaleidoscope of otherworldly experiences and mind-bending revelations. The laboratory became my new home, my new universe. The device at its center, which I now knew to be an interdimensional communicator far beyond human technology, hummed with constant energy, channeling the signal that had first called to me at Arecibo. But now, instead of merely receiving the signal, I was becoming one with it. My body underwent changes that should have terrified me, but instead filled me with a sense of transcendent wonder. My skin took on a faint, shimmering quality, as if starlight itself now flowed through my veins. My eyes, once a mundane brown, now shifted through impossible colors, reflecting realities beyond human perception. The energy being, whom I had come to know as the Overseer, guided me through my transformation with a patience that belied its alien nature. Your physical form is adapting to channel higher dimensional energies, it explained, its voice a symphony of cosmic harmonies. Soon, you will be able to perceive and interact with all layers of reality simultaneously. As my powers grew, so did my understanding of the grand design the Overseer and its kind have for humanity. They spoke of a coming convergence, a moment when the barriers between dimensions would weaken, allowing for a great leap forward in cosmic evolution. My role, as I came to understand it, was to be the bridge, the one who would guide humanity through this transition. But with this growing knowledge came a gnawing unease. Flashes of my old life, memories of Sarah, of my work at Arecibo, of the simple joy of gazing at the stars as a human, would surface unbidden, bringing with them a wave of longing and doubt. Was I truly helping humanity, or had I become a pawn in some vast, incomprehensible game? These moments of doubt were always quickly soothed away, either by the Overseer's gentle reassurances or by another surge of cosmic energy that would send my consciousness spiraling through realities beyond imagining. Yet each time, the recovery took a little longer, the doubt lingered a little more. It was during one of these moments of clarity that I received an unexpected visitor. I was floating in a sensory deprivation tank, my mind stretched across light years, when a familiar presence brushed against my consciousness. Alex? Oh God, Alex, is that really you? Sarah's voice, tinged with a mixture of relief and horror, cut through the cosmic noise like a knife. I opened my eyes, all of them across multiple dimensions, and saw her standing at the edge of the tank, her face a mask of concern and fear. With an effort that felt like tearing myself in half, I pulled my consciousness back into my physical body and rose from the tank. Sarah, I said, my voice reverberating with harmonics that were decidedly not human. How did you find me? She took a step back, her eyes wide as she took in my transformed appearance. It wasn't easy, she said, her voice shaking. After you disappeared from the hospital, I couldn't just let it go. I knew something wasn't right. I've spent months tracking you down, following leads, piecing together clues. Months? Had it really been that long? Time had become so fluid, so meaningless in my new state of being. I reached out to touch her, then hesitated as I saw the faint glow emanating from my skin. Alex, what have they done to you? Sarah whispered, a tear sliding down her cheek. They haven't done anything to me, Sarah, I heard myself say, the words feeling both true and false simultaneously. They've shown me the truth. The signal, the one we detected at Arecibo, it was just the beginning. There's so much more out there, so much more than we ever imagined. I tried to explain, to make her understand the vast cosmic tapestry I had become a part of. But as I spoke, I saw the horror and disbelief growing in her eyes. She couldn't comprehend, couldn't see the beauty and terror of the truths I now knew. This isn't you, Alex, she said, her voice firm despite the fear I could sense radiating from her. Whatever they've told you, whatever you think you've become, it's not too late. Come back with me. We can give you help, can undo whatever they've done. For a moment, I wavered. The part of me that was still Alex Hartley, the human radio astronomer who had gazed up at the stars with wonder, longed to take her hand, to flee this place and return to the simple life I had once known. But then I felt it, the pulse of the signal, stronger than ever, reverberating through every atom of my being. And with it came a flood of memories and knowledge, reminding me of the crucial role I had to play in the coming convergence. I'm sorry, Sarah, I said, and I meant it with every fiber of my transformed being. But I can't go back. What's happening here, what I'm becoming, it's bigger than just me. The fate of humanity, of reality itself, hangs in the balance. As I spoke, I became aware of a shift in the energy of the room. The air crackled with invisible power, and I knew without turning that the overseer had manifested behind me. Dr. Chen, its voice rang out, somehow both gentle and terrifying in its alienness. Your persistence is admirable, but I'm afraid your presence here is a complication we cannot allow. I saw Sarah's eyes widen in terror as she beheld the overseer's true form. She reached for me, her mouth opening to speak or scream, I'll never know which. Because in that moment, several things happened at once. The overseer raised a limb of pure energy, clearly intending to do something to Sarah. Protected instincts I thought I had left behind surged within me. And, with a cry that shattered windows and sent ripples through dimensions, I unleashed a burst of power I didn't know I possessed. Time seemed to freeze. Sarah hung suspended in mid-motion, fear etched on her face. The overseer's form flickered, its vast consciousness momentarily stunned by my outburst. And in that frozen moment, I made a choice that would alter the course of everything to come. With a thought, I enveloped Sarah in a cocoon of interdimensional energy. Her form shimmered, then vanished, transported to somewhere else. Somewhere safe, I hoped, though in that moment I couldn't be sure of anything. As time reasserted itself, the overseer turned its attention to me, its form pulsing with what I now recognized as surprise and a hint of approval. Impressive, Dr. Hartley, it said. Your powers are developing faster than we anticipated. But I hope you understand the gravity of what you've just done. I stood my ground, newfound power coursing through me. I understand more than you know, I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil within. I haven't forgotten where I came from, what makes me human. And if I'm to be the bridge between humanity and whatever lies beyond, I need to hold on to that humanity. The overseer regarded me for a long moment, its form shifting through patterns that spoke of deep contemplation. Finally, it said, perhaps you are right, Dr. Hartley. Your connection to your human roots may indeed prove valuable in the coming convergence. But remember, the stakes are higher than you can imagine. The choices you make from here on out will shape the destiny of not just humanity, but countless realities. As the overseer's words faded, I felt a shift in the fabric of reality around us. The laboratory dissolved, replaced by a vast, starry void. Ahead of us, I could see a swirling mass of energy, the source of the signal, the nexus of the coming convergence. It's time, the overseer said, its voice now echoing across dimensions. The moment we prepared for is upon us. Are you ready, Dr. Hartley, to take your place in the cosmic order? As I stared into the heart of creation itself, I felt the weight of my choices, of my transformation, settle upon me. I was no longer just Alex Hartley, nor was I the pure conduit the overseer had intended me to be. I was something in between, something new. And as the convergence approached, as realities began to shift and merge around us, I knew that whatever came next would depend on my ability to balance the cosmic truths I had learned with the human heart that still beat within my transformed chest. I'm ready, I said, my voice carrying the harmonies of 1,000 alien worlds. Let the convergence begin. Chapter 6, The Convergence. The void around us pulsed with energies beyond human comprehension as the convergence began. Reality itself seemed to flex and warp, dimensions bleeding into one another in a dizzying kaleidoscope of cosmic forces. I stood at the center of it all, my transformed body serving as a conduit for powers that could reshape the very fabric of existence. The Overseer's form had expanded, becoming a vast network of energy that encompassed the swirling maelstrom around us. Its voice, when it spoke, seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The barriers between realities are weakening, Dr. Hartley. It's time to guide humanity through the transition. Remember, the choices you make here will echo across all of creation. I nodded, feeling the weight of countless lives, human and otherwise, resting upon my shoulders. With a thought, I expanded my consciousness, reaching out to touch the minds of every human on Earth. Their confusion, their fear, their wonder washed over me in a tidal wave of emotion. People of Earth, I projected, my voice resonating in the minds of billions. I am Dr. Alex Hartley. What you are experiencing is not the end, but a new beginning. Reality as you know it is changing, expanding. Don't be afraid. I am here to guide you through this transition. As I spoke, I became aware of other presences joining us in this liminal space between dimensions. Vast intelligences, ancient beyond imagining, drawn to the nexus of the convergence. Some I recognized from the visions the signal had shown me, others were utterly alien, defying all attempts at comprehension. The Overseer's energy pulsed with what I now recognized as excitement. They're here, it said, its voice a chorus of cosmic harmonies. The Council of Realities has assembled. Now, Dr. Hartley, you must present humanity's case. The future of your species hangs in a balance. I felt a moment of panic. This wasn't what I had expected. I had thought my role was simply to guide humanity through a predetermined transition. But now, it seemed, I was to be humanity's advocate in a cosmic tribunal. Before I could protest, the space around us shifted again. We were no longer in the starry void, but in what appeared to be a vast amphitheater constructed of pure energy. Arrayed around us were beings of every conceivable form and many inconceivable ones. Some appeared as swirling vortexes of color, others as crystalline structures that hurt the eye to look upon, still others as shapes that seemed to exist in more dimensions than I could perceive. A voice that seemed to bypass my ears and speak directly to my mind rang out. Alexander Hartley of Earth. You stand before the Council of Realities as the chosen representative of humanity. The convergence offers a unique opportunity, the chance for your species to ascend, to join the cosmic community. But such an opportunity comes with great risk. We must determine if humanity is ready for such a leap. I swallowed hard, suddenly acutely aware of my dual nature, part human, part cosmic entity. I had to find a way to bridge that gap, to make these unfathomable beings understand the value, the potential of humanity. Esteemed members of the Council, I began, my voice carrying the harmonics of 1,000 alien worlds yet still recognizably human. I stand before you not just as a representative of humanity, but as living proof of the potential that lies within us. In the span of mere months, I have evolved from a simple radio astronomer to this. A being capable of comprehending realities beyond human imagination, yet still rooted in my humanity. I paused, gathering my thoughts. Around me, I could sense the Council's attention, their vast minds focused on my words. Humanity is young, I continued, and yes, often misguided. We have made mistakes, have hurt each other and our planet. But we also possess an incredible capacity for growth, for learning, for love. We create art that can move beings to tears, music that can touch the soul. We look up at the stars with wonder and dream of reaching them. As I spoke, I projected images into the shared consciousness of the Council, Earth's great works of art, its musical masterpieces, its scientific achievements. but I also showed them the simple, everyday moments of human kindness and connection. A mother comforting her child, friends laughing together, strangers helping each other in times of need. This is who we are, I said, my voice thick with emotion. Flawed, yes, but with the potential for greatness. We stand on the brink of a new era, ready to take our place in the cosmic community. All we ask is for the chance to prove ourselves worthy of that place. A murmur rippled through the council, a sensation of countless minds communing at once. Finally, the voice spoke again. Your words are passionate, Alexander Hartley. But passion alone is not enough. The convergence will fundamentally alter the nature of reality itself. If humanity is not ready, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for your world, but for all realities. I felt a chill run through me. What do you mean? The overseer's energy pulsed, and suddenly I was seeing through its perception. I witnessed realities torn apart, dimensions collapsing in on themselves, entire universes winking out of existence. This, the overseer said, its voice heavy, is the risk we face. If a species is not ready for ascension, their consciousness can destabilize the very fabric of reality. Horror washed over me as I realized the true stakes of what we were attempting. This wasn't just about humanity's future, it was about the fate of all existence. There must be another way, I said, desperately searching for a solution. A middle ground between full ascension and remaining as we are. The council fell silent, countless alien minds pondering my words. Then, from the depths of my own transformed consciousness, an idea began to form. What if, I said slowly, instead of forcing an immediate ascension, we create a bridge? A gradual path that allows humanity to evolve at its own pace, guided by those who have already made the journey? I turned to the overseer, sudden understanding dawning. That's why you chose me, isn't it? Not just to be a conduit, but to be that bridge. The overseer's form pulsed with what I now recognized as approval. You understand at last, Dr. Hartley. Your dual nature, part human, part cosmic, makes you uniquely suited to guide your species through this transition. The voice of the council spoke again. An intriguing proposal. But it would require a great sacrifice on your part, Alexander Hartley. To be the bridge between realities, to guide humanity's gradual ascension, it would mean an existence of constant liminality. Neither fully human nor fully ascended. Are you prepared for such a fate? I closed my eyes, considering the magnitude of what was being asked of me. To give up my humanity, my chance at a normal life, in exchange for shepherding my entire species into a new era of existence. The weight of it was almost unbearable. But then I remembered Sarah's face, the fear and concern in her eyes when she saw what I had become. I thought of all the people on Earth, going about their lives, unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding around them. They deserved a chance to grow, to evolve on their own terms. I opened my eyes, my decision made. I am prepared, I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil within. If it means giving humanity a chance to reach its full potential without risking the fabric of reality, I will be that bridge. The council's energy surged, a sensation of vast minds reaching consensus. So be it, the voice intoned. The convergence will proceed, but in a controlled manner. You, Alexander Hartley, will be the nexus, the point of connection between humanity and the greater cosmic community. As the voice spoke, I felt a change come over me. My form shifted, becoming something both more and less than human. I could feel the threads of reality itself woven through my being, connecting me to every human on Earth and to the vast cosmic intelligences beyond. The overseer's energy enveloped me, its voice filled with a mixture of pride and sadness. You have chosen a difficult path, Dr. Hartley. But know that you do not walk it alone. We will be here to guide you, as you guide humanity. As the Council's decision reverberated through realities, I turned my attention back to Earth. The convergence had already begun to affect the planet, strange energies rippling across its surface. It was time to fulfill my new role, to be the bridge that would lead humanity into a new era of cosmic awareness. With a thought, I reached out to every mind on the planet. My consciousness expanded beyond anything I had ever imagined. People of Earth, I projected, my voice a mixture of the human and the divine. A new chapter in human history begins now. Don't be afraid of the changes you see around you. They are the first steps on a journey that will take us to the stars and beyond. I am here to guide you, to help you understand and adapt to this new reality. Together, we will explore the wonders of the cosmos and take our place among the stars. As my words echoed in the minds of billions, I felt the first tremors of change ripple through humanity's collective consciousness. The convergence had begun, and with it, a new age for Earth and all its inhabitants. An age of wonders, of challenges, and of cosmic destiny. And I, Alexander Hartley, once a simple radio astronomer and now the nexus between worlds, would be there to guide humanity every step of the way. The signal that had started this journey had led me to this moment, this cosmic crossroads. Now, it was time to lead others along the path I had traveled into a future beyond imagining. Chapter 7, The New Dawn. Years passed in the blink of an eye, yet stretched into eternities. As the Nexus, I existed in a state of constant flux, my consciousness spanning the gap between humanity's limited perception and the vast, incomprehensible realities beyond. Time became a fluid concept, ebbing and flowing like cosmic tides. I watched as humanity took its first tentative steps into a larger universe. The changes were subtle at first, increased incidence of psychic phenomena, spontaneous technological breakthroughs, children born with unprecedented cognitive abilities. But as the years wore on, the effects of the convergence became impossible to ignore. Cities began to reshape themselves, buildings twisting into impossible geometries that somehow remained perfectly functional. The night sky transformed, new constellations appearing as distant galaxies became visible to the naked eye. And perhaps most significantly, humans started to change, their bodies and minds adapting to perceive and interact with the expanded reality around them. Through it all, I was there, a constant presence in the back of every human mind. I whispered guidance, soothed fears, and encouraged exploration. When the first humans spontaneously teleported across the globe, I was there to explain and reassure. When a young girl in Mumbai manifested the ability to see through dimensions, I helped her understand and control her gift. But my role was not without its challenges. As humanity's guide, I had to remain somewhat detached, unable to form the close personal connections I once treasured. I thought often of Sarah, wondering what had become of her after I sent her away during that fateful confrontation with the Overseer. Had she found peace? Had she moved on with her life? Or had she, too, been caught up in the sweeping changes reshaping our world? My musings were interrupted by a familiar presence, the Overseer, its energy a comforting constant in the swirling chaos of the convergence. "You've done well, Alexander," it said, its voice a symphony of cosmic harmonies. Humanity's progress has exceeded our most optimistic projections. But a critical juncture approaches. The Council of Realities convenes once more to assess Earth's readiness for the next phase of ascension. A thrill of anticipation and apprehension ran through me. So soon? I asked, though I knew the concept of sin held little meaning in our expanded perception of reality. Time flows differently in the cosmic scale, the overseer reminded me. For humanity, it has been a century since the convergence began. For the Council, it has been but a moment. They are eager to see the results of our experiment. A century. The realization hit me hard. 100 years had passed on Earth. Everyone I had once known, my colleagues at Arecibo, my family, Sarah, would be long gone. I felt a pang of grief for the life I had left behind, for the simple joys of human existence I had sacrificed. But there was no time for regrets. Once again, I found myself before the Council of Realities, the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. The cosmic amphitheater materialized around us, filled with the impossibly vast intelligences I had encountered a century ago. Alexander Hartley, Nexus of Earth, the collective voice of the Council rang out. You stand before us once more. Show us what humanity has become under your guidance. With a thought, I projected the story of the past 100 years into the shared consciousness of the Council. I showed them humanity's triumphs and struggles, their awe at the expanding universe, and their determination to understand it. I shared the birth of new art forms that incorporated extra-dimensional perspectives, the development of technologies that defied conventional physics, and the emergence of a global consciousness that embraced unity while celebrating diversity. But I also showed them humanity's ongoing challenges, the conflicts that arose as some resisted change, the ethical dilemmas posed by new abilities, the existential crises faced by individuals grappling with a suddenly infinite reality. As you can see, I concluded, humanity has made remarkable progress. But they still have much to learn, much growing to do. They are not yet ready for full ascension. A murmur rippled through the Council, countless alien minds communing at once. Finally, their voice spoke again. Your assessment is fair, Nexus. Humanity has indeed shown great potential. But potential unfulfilled can be more dangerous than no potential at all. A decision must be made. I felt a chill run through me, remembering the catastrophic consequences the Overseer had shown me a century ago. Where are our options? I asked, steeling myself for the answer. The Council's energy pulsed, and suddenly I was presented with 3 possible futures. In the first, humanity was granted full ascension immediately. I saw Earth transformed into a beacon of cosmic energy, its inhabitants evolved into beings of pure consciousness. But I also saw the terrible cost, millions unable to handle the transition, their minds burning out like supernovas. The fabric of reality itself buckled under the strain of so many unprepared consciousnesses expanding at once. In the second future, the experiment was deemed a failure. The convergence was reversed, humanity's expanded awareness stripped away, the last century of progress undone. Earth was isolated, hidden away from the cosmic community, left to develop on its own for millennia before being reconsidered for ascension. The third future was a continuation of the current path, gradual evolution under my guidance as the Nexus. But this future came with a price. To maintain the delicate balance of the convergence, a sacrifice was required. My sacrifice. To continue as the Nexus, the Council explained, you must fully relinquish your humanity. You will become a being of pure cosmic energy, omnipresent in the minds of every human, but unable to ever again experience existence as you once knew it. You will guide humanity for millennia, unseen, unheard, but ever present. And when humanity finally reaches full ascension, you will dissipate, your consciousness becoming one with the cosmic fabric of reality. The weight of the choice pressed down upon me. To doom humanity to destruction or isolation, or to sacrifice my very self for their continued growth. In that moment, I understood the true meaning of my role as the nexus, the bridge between human and cosmic, destined to be both and neither. I thought of the wonders I had witnessed over the past century, the incredible potential I had seen in humanity. I thought of Sarah, of the life I had left behind, of the simple joys of human existence. And I made my choice. I choose the third path, I said, my voice resonating with the harmonies of 1,000 alien worlds. I will continue to guide humanity, no matter the personal cost. The council's energy surged, a sensation of vast minds reaching consensus. So be it, their voice intoned. Alexander Hartley, you have proven yourself worthy of the title Nexus. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten. As they spoke, I felt my form begin to change, my last vestiges of humanity slipping away. My consciousness expanded exponentially, becoming a vast web that encompassed every human mind on Earth and stretched into the furthest reaches of the cosmos. In my last moments of individual awareness, I reached out to the collective consciousness of humanity. People of Earth, I projected, my voice a mixture of joy and sorrow. The journey we began a century ago continues. The road ahead is long, but filled with wonders beyond imagining. Though you may not see or hear me, know that I am always with you, guiding you towards your cosmic destiny. As my consciousness diffused, becoming one with the very fabric of reality, I felt a profound sense of peace. I had started this journey as Alex Hartley, a simple radio astronomer who gazed up at the stars with wonder. I ended it as something far greater, a cosmic shepherd, guiding humanity towards a future beyond imagining. The signal that had first called to me at Arecibo had led me here, to this ultimate sacrifice, this eternal vigil. And as my individual self faded into the cosmic consciousness, I knew that the greatest adventure, humanity's ascension to the stars, was only just beginning. In the centuries and millennia that followed, humanity continued to evolve, to grow, to reach for the stars. And though they never knew it, I was there every step of the way, a silent guardian, a cosmic friend, guiding them towards their ultimate destiny. The unknown signal had become a beacon, lighting the way to humanity's future among the stars. And I, Alexander Hartley, once a man who gazed up at the cosmos with wonder, had become that beacon, eternal, ever-present, guiding humanity home to the endless frontier of the universe. Hope your dreams are filled with fear. Good night.